Here in the Washington, D.C. area, we are really lucky to have a great streetcar museum at the National Capital Trolley Museum up in Maryland. Seriously, they do such a phenomenal job preserving the streetcar history of Washington, D.C., and they have a collection of cars from all around the world. If you live here or you're here for an extended visit, definitely check them out. The great thing is, museums like this are all over the country. How do I know? Well, because you wonderful people keep suggesting them to me. Whether it's through YouTube comments, Instagram messages, or by email, I'm constantly getting new suggestions from viewers like you on museums to visit. The one museum that I have gotten suggested more than any other museum is the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania. Well, as luck would have it, I was driving through Washington, Pennsylvania back in September. See, Lindsay and I went to a friend's wedding in Amish country, Ohio. Right at that age where about half of the trips you go on are for friends' weddings. Now the wedding itself wasn't Amish, but everything else was, so we enjoyed some great food and we saw the world's largest cuckoo clock in Sugar Creek, Ohio. On the trip back, we had to stop in Washington for gas and some food, and then it hit me. Washington, Pennsylvania. Isn't that where the Trolley Museum is? So I put it in the GPS, we drove over, and had an amazing time. In the summer, the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum is open from Tuesday to Sunday, and in the winter from Thursday to Sunday. And admission is $20, which feels a little bit steep at first maybe, but it's pretty normal for trolley museums, and they use that money to help keep the trains in good condition. I think it's worth it. There's a little exhibit inside, but with the limited amount of time we had, we wanted to mostly focus on the trams. Now, of course, we will get an opportunity to ride the trolley because on days like this, they have what's called an experience. It's basically a trolley ride over a track that they have. This is a PCC trolley that used to run in Pittsburgh. PCC is short for President's Conference Committee, and in the 1930s, the presidents of different trolley companies came together to try to revitalize trolley service, make it attractive, and so they came up with this luxurious type of trolley that you could see all over the US and all over the world. And next to it is an open-air trolley from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I really want to ride this train, but the next experience isn't for a little bit, so let's go into the car barn first and see all the different vehicles that they have on display. Since this is the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum, trolleys from places like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh are the main focus of the exhibit. Pennsylvania is actually an interesting state because its two largest cities have both preserved parts of their streetcar networks. Philadelphia still runs trolleys, and the Pittsburgh Light Rail also uses old trolley infrastructure. And so this museum preserves some old cars of networks that still exist. Not this one ran in Johnstown, which doesn't have a streetcar network anymore. Now, an interesting fact is that trolleys in Pennsylvania use a track gauge that is wider than standard gauge. And the reason for that is that when they opened the first street railway in Philadelphia, they didn't want mainline freight trains running down the middle of the street. And having different gauges prevented that from ever happening. It's not just trolleys, though. I'm really excited to ride this old L car. This car was built in 1960 and saw service on the Market Frankfurt line, or the L, and it had the nickname Almond Joy because of the shape of the roof.
Whoa. I would like to sit in this seat, I think. It looks very nice and comfy. But back here, some cool seats too. Like a bench. Ooh. This is a cool view. You'd be able to see all the way from the back. Let's go up to the front. Some more seating, but it's quite a deep crevice. You sit your butt in there and get stuck.
Now, this next car we're going to take a look at was built in 1906 and comes from Toledo, Ohio.
with a working light.
This would be a nice commute.
Yeah. In a kitchen with stained glass lights and windows. Wow. Yeah, I want one of these. This is sweet. And then there's a seating area so you can hang out with your besties.
I was just going to ask you what's your favorite you've seen so far, but...
I think this one, I love all the woodwork on this, and the ceiling in here is gorgeous. It looks like a library. But
I'll start saving up.
sounds good.
And if you're one of my older viewers who remembers riding the streetcars, but you're thinking to yourself, I don't remember them looking this nice. Well, this was an inspection car. It was used by dignitaries to inspect the tracks and to transport important people. Moving on from luxury to utility, there's also a collection of maintenance of way cars like this bamboo snow sweeper. And here's the predecessor of a train that is about to get its own video here on the channel. Ooh, and there's a Norristown high-speed line car in SEPTA livery.
Comfy?
Very.
This is an old freight train car that they used to help fix the wires. Like they would go on the top, I think is what it says.
Oh, cool.
The workers stand on a roof-mounted platform to replace or adjust the wire carrying the high voltage electrical current needed to run. Car started and remained in service until 1992, both with a red arrow and the successor SEPTAs for a total of 81 years. We know of no other trolley vehicle on any other property that has had that longevity.
Wow, 81 years. That's impressive. I could stand here and read everything for hours, but it is time for the main event. Let's go ride some trolleys. Although PCCs are fun to ride, I've been on many of them before. Some of them are even still in service in different cities. Luckily, the PCC was moving out of the way and making room for the Rio tram. We got lucky. We got here just in time to take a ride on the tram from Rio de Janeiro. It's completely open air, perfect on a beautiful late September day like today. Any guesses how old this thing is? 60, 70, maybe 80 years old? No, it was built in 1911. It is 114 years old.
1758, it's now boarding just outside the doors of the Holcomb Education Center. This is a 20-minute round trip.
It started out in Rio de Janeiro, where it ran until the 1960s. After that point, it's had kind of a crazy nomadic life, first going to a different trolley museum in Pennsylvania, but after that one suffered hurricane damage, it served as a store prop in a store in New Jersey, followed by a store in Sarasota, Florida, before the city of Orlando bought it as a demonstration for a heritage streetcar that they wanted to run. Well, that never happened. It was finally put to auction in 2006, and now it's here. You know, I find it so impressive that people are able to take this equipment, which is over a century old, and still run it. Though I really like trains, I'm not super gifted when it comes to mechanical stuff, so I really admire the mechanical volunteers that can look at what parts are needed, order the right things, and give these things the proper maintenance so that they can be enjoyed by generations to come. However, there are all sorts of volunteering opportunities, even if working with your hands is not your thing. For example, the Trolley Museum also has docents, which are people that just tell you about all the different vehicles on display as well as the history, and there are, of course, operators and conductors actually running the trolleys, like right now. And if the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum is anything like other trolley museums that I've visited, they're always looking for new volunteers. So if you're in the area and any of these positions sound interesting, I would definitely reach out and ask them what they need. So it's a beautiful day and we're running outside on a track that is 4 miles long, which is pretty long for a trolley museum, I feel like. Along the way, we spotted some wildlife and of course we passed different pieces of infrastructure that are all essential for trolley operations. Like this turning loop right now. There we passed the car barn where the maintenance people work on the different vehicles. The line even has a station, which is nicer than some transit stations in the country, and some railroad crossings. The breeze felt heavenly, and just listening to these ancient motor noises, this was the absolute perfect stop on our long road trip. So we went to the gift shop and we didn't actually get anything Pennsylvania trolley themed, but we got this Duquesne Incline postcard because we've been on that, and a DC streetcar pin. Lindsay, what was your favorite part of the museum?
I just like to go in the old ones that, even if we couldn't ride them, to be able to see the ones in the barn. I thought that was really cool.
I have to say my favorite part was the streetcar ride. Just sitting outside was so nice, but especially hearing the rumble when we sped up and went fast, that was just so impressive. If you ever find yourself in Washington County, Pennsylvania, definitely check out the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum. It is absolutely worth it. I'll put the specifics down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome because we have more content like this coming. We'll see you next time.